What's up, everybody? Welcome to the new episode of Devin the Bear. Today is our Halloween special. We're just going to be talking about some scary people in the MMA world, some spooky stuff. So let us know in our comments, let us know your spooky stories, if you have any Halloween stories or anything scary. In MMA, there's a lot of people who are considered scary or intimidating, like Colin Fletcher or Vanderlei Silva, the ex-murderer. But neither of those guys are actually scary. They're just... Colin Fletcher's a goofball British dude, and Vanderlei Silva doesn't know how to read. So...
Try to feed a carrot to a bus. No, that was Nogueira Brothers.
They're not legitimately scary. Especially when you have people in MMA history who have murdered. And insert cool, scary effect there.
Murder.
So we're going to be talking about those guys today.
Also, in no way are we glorifying these people. It just was like, we were like, this is perfect time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely
to talk about
not.
these guys.
We're talking about them because they're so horrible.
Yeah.
And it's scary that they were celebrated.
Yeah.
People were like, these are good guys.
Yeah.
They are cool athletes. They're a rapist.
Yeah. They, trigger warning. Yeah. It's, what's it called? They are either child rapists, molesters, murderers, fucking you name it. They have done it, and they are probably seeing life in prison. Honorable mentions John Jones, but yeah.
Yeah. Dishonorable mentions. Basically this list is going to be comprised of people who you either would have or would not have expected to have done something horrible. Yeah. So think of it for those people who like podcasts that talk about murder mysteries.
Dishonorable mention, Brian Bowles.
Well, yeah, meth.
Yeah.
These aren't mysteries because we know who they did them. But spooky. We're going to start with one that's not really as spooky, but that doesn't take away from what he did. Lee Murray, who was pretty early on in the UFC. He's a British fighter from the UK, and he is responsible for one of the biggest heists in UK history, I believe. It was like, what was it, like 3 million?
Yeah, it was a lot of, I don't know what it was, I don't know what the currency is, but he's looking at what, like 30 years, right? He's currently on a 30-year term.
But he's getting out soon, so...
Yeah. And he said he wants a rematch with Tito Ortiz. If you haven't heard Lee Murray before, he is a urban legend. He has of knocking out Tito Ortiz at a bar.
Outside of the bar, but there's no footage. Chuck Liddell's the only one who saw it.
Yeah. He said he said he knocked him out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell said, he knocked out Tito. And who else was there? I think Pat Miletich was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Frank Trigg was there. A couple random guys, but
probably.
Yeah, they were all there to witness that, and it's absolutely insane. But
so Lee Murray, major heist mastermind, ready to come out into the public world. Spooky. Why don't you tell us a little bit about War Machine?
War Machine, John Copenhaver. Where do I start? So we've actually discussed him before on the show, and he's what's it called? John Copenhaver was on. I want to say he was on The Ultimate Fighter season 3, right, or 4, one of the earlier seasons. With Matt Serra was his coach, and he had said, something about War Machine. He always seemed off, like something about him. He's like, something's off about that kid. I could just tell. And he had a couple stints. War Machine, he goes on a couple losses, gets booted out of the UFC. After that, he gets a couple assault charges and stuff. He starts acting in adult industry. He starts doing adult films and all that. And he ends up dating a former adult actress named Christy Mack. And so they dated for a while, but they broke up because he was abusive. And one day she is with another man, and he breaks in their house and almost beats this man to death. And walks up there and almost beats her to death, like threatening to kill her. He broke multiple teeth, broke her nose, her eyes. She was unrecognizable. And he showed no remorse at all for what he did. He's currently on a life sentence right now. Yeah, he's trying to. You know that like he actually got married in prison.
Really?
Yeah, like legit.
Someone married that psycho?
Him. Yeah, she married him, and they met while he was in there. They managed to have kids. They have a couple kids.
Oh my
and
God.
What else? Yeah, I don't fucking get it. And he also has an Instagram. Also, I found that out.
Nice. What does he post?
When I guess just visitation pictures.
How to make toilet wine.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, man. So yeah, he's just a piece of trash, honestly. Look into his story. There's a bunch of documentaries you can find on YouTube about him, but he's definitely a very scary person, very demented person.
Another one on this list, Thiago Silva. I bring him up because he was actually one of my favorite fighters at a time.
Yeah,
he's my boy.
You're my boy, Blue.
Now, he never actually hurt anyone.
Yeah.
But he was ready to kill 2 people at one time. After videos came out of him being on some sort of drug.
It's not funny.
No, it isn't. There were videos that came out of him holding a gun behind his back, and his wife was trying to record him to prove, like, hey, this is what he's doing. Or ex-wife, sorry. And he ended up driving to her gym where she was with her boyfriend, who was one of the trainers of the gym.
No, they weren't dating.
They were.
Were they dating?
Yeah.
I thought he was still. I guess it was a estranged wife. Like.
Yeah, they were divorced. They were going through a divorce.
Oh,
but
that's
anyway,
what it was. Okay.
And so he went to her gym where she was with her boyfriend, who was one of the trainers at the gym, with his gun out and just telling them, if y'all need to come outside, so I can shoot you.
So, anyways, I started blasting.
And of all the fighters in the UFC, or just in MMA, Thiago Silva is one of the legitimate scary dudes.
Yeah.
I think him and like Mirko.
He looks like a cartel.
They are so intense looking.
He looks like a hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He really does.
He looks like he's straight out of the John Wick movie. Scary dude, and he's outside waving a gun saying, if you don't come in there, or if you don't come out here for me to shoot you, I'm going to go in there and shoot you. He was arrested and banned from the UFC. Understandably so.
Okay, so what's it called? One thing to talk about, some good news with him though, is that he did get clean. He got the help. Yeah.
He was reformed.
Yeah.
He is back to competing. He does kickboxing and MMA where he can. He is in another relationship that seems to be doing well. They have kids. They're happy.
Good for him.
Not everybody on this list gets to be happy.
No.
I'm going to lump these 2 in. Abel Trujillo and Travis Fulton were both charged with child pornography and promoting child obscenity.
Yeah.
Abel Trujillo also beat his wife twice and was arrested for it both times. So that's 2 counts of domestic violence, 1 count of exploitation of a child, and 1 count of promoting obscenity of a child. I don't remember what his sentence was, but I know that he's on probation for 2 years. So I think he gets off at 2022.
Yeah, that's what. Damn, only probation.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that some shit?
This man is walking among us.
Just hanging out, like
beats women.
Yeah.
Sexually assaults and exploits children, and he gets to just roam the world.
So his address is...
The demons are out there.
They really are, man. That's pretty fucked up. I did not know. I thought he was in prison. Speaking of Travis Fulton, though, that is a crazy one, though. So with Travis Fulton, he had over like 100 MMA fights. He was considered a legend because he was just game. He always wanted to come in, fight, and just do it as much as he could. So one day, out of nowhere, news breaks out that he was in possession of child pornography, and was also trying to solicit what's called like sexual relations with a teenager, a bunch of stuff came out about him. Come to find out, like, he had like a huge stash of this stuff, man. Like, complete sick fuck. Like, and it sucked because like a lot of people. There's a guy I remember I saw this. Somebody had a Travis Fulton tattoo.
That's awful.
Yeah, and then like they had it, and then this news came out. I'm like, that fucking sucks, dude. And so Travis Fulton was like considered a legend in the sport. You know, like a just it was like watching Jeremy Horn. You know, everybody knew who like because Travis Fulton has fought everybody. And so Travis Fulton actually took his life this year. He was found hanging in his cell while he was waiting sentencing.
Yeah, he was in custody when it happened.
Yeah, isn't that kind of like for me? Like when I hear about that stuff, though, like it's always kind of aggravating because it's like he got away, you know, like he never got to actually face the punishment he deserved, even though he doesn't get to live anymore.
Yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on that? Do you feel like the people who commit suicide are avoiding their sentencing that way?
Yeah.
Or are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, like I get why some people would be satisfied with it, you know, because it's like, hey man, at least he's fucking dead. He's a piece of shit. But like I don't know, like it's like I just see it as like he never got to face the justice he deserved.
Yeah,
you know. So depending on what you believe in, maybe he probably is facing the justice he deserved. But yeah.
Well, some other people on this list. We have Dmitry Sosnovsky, who kidnapped someone's daughter. And I don't know the story too well. You can look more into it. But he kidnapped someone's daughter and then tried to hold her for ransom and said that he would kill the daughter and then the guy if they didn't pay the ransom. The guy didn't pay the ransom. And when they went to go kill the daughter, she had escaped. I can't remember who they were, if it was like his neighbor or something, but yeah, she had escaped, told the authorities, and he was arrested. Awful stuff.
Yeah. So another person that we've also, which the last name would be familiar for you, is Alexander Emelianenko.
Yep.
What's it called? In 2008, he was served 3.5 years in prison already. I don't know what that charge for. This is like 2008, whenever it was brought up to light.
Yeah, he's got several charges.
Yeah. And so what else has he done? He's done a lot of stuff. I'm trying to remember exactly what else he's done. That's what he had a sexual assault conviction back in 2014 of his housekeeper, and he tried to appeal the decision. It was declined, and he pretty much got back to fighting within like a couple years. The downside, whenever you are Russian and your brother is a polarizing figure of the Russian culture, you're probably not going to see jail time for being a piece of shit.
Which, props to Fedor for knocking out Tim Johnson. That's the number 2 welterweight in Bellator.
Yeah. Welterweight.
Sorry about your brother, man. Trash.
Wait, what? Tim Johnson?
Fedor.
Oh, yeah.
Knocked out Tim Johnson.
Yeah.
Recently. Anyway, Alexander Emelianenko is someone who looks like he lives in prison.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he lives freely.
He looks like the Baba Yaga. If you like, not like John Wick, but like if you were to imagine what the boogeyman would look like if he was actually Russian.
Just like a chunkier Fedor with long hair.
Yeah.
And more, just covered in tattoos.
He's got a lot of fucking tattoos.
Yeah. Josh Grisby, another very familiar name. He has 25 counts of assault and gun charges from his wife that he was charged with. Was that back in... What year was that? It was like 2017. But yeah, 25 counts of assault and gun charges, all from his wife. So I think it spans from like 2014 to 2017. Imagine getting beat by your husband, who's a professional fighter, for 3 years, and every time you want to go tell or call the cops, he threatens you with a gun. And you live like that for 3 years.
It's one of those things where it's like you would think that she would just like just run away and find help somewhere else, but I've never been in that situation, but from what I've heard, it's very hard to leave that. You know?
It's very terrifying.
It's very terrifying. And that's why we're happy that Dustin Poirier beat the shit out of him and completely ruined his whole UFC
and
run.
his debut.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of justice. The actual justice, Josh Grisby has a pretty large sentence, and I think after his sentence, he has a mandatory 5 years probation.
Damn. What? And so also, you forgot to mention about the whole dog that we were talking about.
Oh, right. One of the times he beat his wife, he then had his trained attack dog, Pitbull. He sicked it on her, and it was tearing her to pieces. And then when it wouldn't get off when he told it to, he choked it unconscious.
Jesus. Dude.
Because, why not be a horrible person all around, even to other species?
I mean, the dog wasn't going to stop.
It's awful people.
Yeah.
Again, it's just crazy to think, like, I remember watching his fights, and
I was a fan of his fights, dude.
Yep.
Like,
it was fun to watch.
It was really fun to watch. And then you find out these people are just big pieces of shits, and it's like, fuck, it's just crazy.
Let's see. Hermes Franca raped a girl and is doing 42 months in a state prison. I remember Hermes Franca was a really big deal.
Yeah.
He was destroying people back in the day. So that we get to, we have what, 2 more? Joe Son would be the second one.
Yeah, that dude is, which, if you don't know who Joe Son is, he fought in the early UFCs, but he was also the assassin in the first Austin Powers movie.
He threw the shoe.
Yeah, the shoe guy. And then, who throws a shoe? Well, that's him. That's who Joe Son is. And yeah, just to lead into that.
He's serving 34 years to life. Why don't you take this one?
Okay, let me.
I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you're good. It's I should have been more prepared for this.
Well, he pleaded guilty to felony vandalism, and that's kind of where it starts. He was taken into custody and given an additional 90 days in jail due to a probation violation for failing to report to the Department of Probation and keeping them informed of his current residence.
And also in October 2008, around the time that all this was happening, he was charged in relation to a gang rape. He was initially charged in Orange County with 5 counts of rape, 2 felony counts of forcible sodomy, and 2 felony counts of sodomy and concert by force, 7 felony counts of forcible oral copulation, and 1 felony count of sexual penetration by a foreign object by force. He faced a maximum of 275 years to life if he was convicted.
They expect him to live longer than 200
So that means
years.
Whenever he dies and comes back reincarnated, that guy has a life sentence. Shout out to Tom Segura. But yeah, he is just, let's see, he also killed, so while he's been locked up, he also killed his cellmate. And he is moved to solitary confinement. And he got on trial for that. And back in 2017, his trial was he was found guilty of voluntary manslaughter and received an extra 27 years. Yeah.
And this guy was a big deal back then. Wasn't he the one who walked out with the cross on his back?
I think he did it too. He did. That was Chemo.
Chemo was the one who did it successfully, I thought.
It was him then. It was him.
And then Joe tried to do it and couldn't.
Yeah.
He's so tired while carrying the cross to the cage that for his fight he was too exhausted and he got whooped.
Yeah. The pain of being a good Christian boy apparently was too much for him.
Good Christian.
And so he's
terrible person.
Yeah, just horrible.
But yeah, that'll bring us to the person on the top of our list, Jared Wyatt. Not a super popular MMA fighter.
I think he only had 1 pro fight.
Yeah. But that makes him a pro MMA fighter, so he makes the list. We don't have a huge criteria. But he was accused of ripping out his friend's heart and removing his tongue while they were on hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah.
This was back in 2010. He and his sparring partner went to go hang out at his place afterwards, and where they did said drugs, which somehow resulted in him cutting this dude's chest open and taking out his heart and then cutting out his tongue.
He was alive during all this.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
And he cut the skin. Well, let's see. They don't know what happened to the skin on the guy's face, but he cut the skin off of that guy's face. And they found his heart in the stove.
The fucking cops walking and he's wearing the face. Hello, Clarice.
Doing the freaking... Yeah.
Fucking Hannibal.
But yeah, so they found that guy's heart in the stove, and other organs were removed and on the floor. And Jared Wyatt received 50 years to life without possibility of parole. So
yeah,
at least you don't have to worry about that guy coming back.
Yeah, so good. Fuck that guy. Also, another dishonorable mention. I'm gonna fuck up his name. Vyacheslav Datsik, the guy I was telling you about. He was his first pro fight was a win over Andrei Arlovsky.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. He originally, his imprisonment started. He he faked his death and performed a armed robbery. And then while he was locked up, he was very anti-Semitic, and you come to find out he was suffering from schizophrenia. He's a huge neo-Nazi also, and you've probably seen this guy. Like, you probably know what I'm talking about. He was in that one. He's like the big fat dude. Like, he's in an MMA fight, and he's like looking at the camera, making like dumbass faces to the camera and stuff in the middle of the stare down, like the love touch. And I'll show it to you in a bit, and you'll be like, oh, okay. And he also he escaped, and he went to Norway, and he was deported back after they found him. He attempted suicide twice. It's a lot of stuff, man. He actually asked the court to give him a max sentence. He said it would help him live a healthier life. I don't know, man. He's a piece of shit. Look into it.
Yeah. That was a list of fighters who are awful people, but at one point, people were like, we look up to him. Yeah. Pro athlete. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
So, can't always... I'd say you can't judge a book by a cover. Some of these guys look like they do what they did.
100%. Like, a guy named War Machine, you're going to tell me he won't beat up his girlfriend? Come on. You know? Like, he legally changed his name to fucking War Machine.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, is his name, I think it is John Copenhaver.
Hagen.
Yeah.
Copenhagen. I don't know.
I don't know. Who cares?